Wow. You are now on for this third and final segment of the Morning Drift. What is trending or what's trending social media, but just fresh from a conversation surrounding matters art and theatre plays. And like I said, it was about Drums of War by Son of Man Productions. Quite an interesting conversation there, and I'd want to admit that I'm a bit really now interested, or much more interested in matters screenplays. At some point I was, but I don't know what happened along the way. Just want to say labda mambo ilichemka ikakwepa kidogo, but just briefly before we jump straight to what is trending on social media today, is that we do know the cabinet secretaries will be or are now required to appear before lawmakers and senators. And today, three cabinet secretaries, that is the cabinet secretary for Interior and National Coordination, that is Professor Kithure Kindiki, Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development CS, that is Zakaria Njeru, and Salim Mvuya of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, and that is the former governor of Kwale County, will be appearing before the Senate pursuant to Standing Orders 51A 5 of the Senate. And that will be starting at around 9:30, close to 22 minutes from now. And Kindiki, of course, will be responding to many other senators, but among them will be Senator Lelegwe of Samburu on the state of security in the county of Samburu, and especially Samburu West. That is the constituency 4. That's a constituency in Samburu County, and of course constituency for Naisula Lesuda, beg your pardon, on the state of security, and of course the plans by the ministry to support the ongoing operation measures that the government has put in place to enhance security in the entire Samburu County at large. On the other side, CS Zakaria Njeru of Housing and Urban Planning will be responding to other senators, and of course led by Senator Fatma Dulo of Isiolo County, and of course on the reasons for the disparity in compensation between residents of Nuno Modogashe and Isiolo affected by the Africa Gateway project. And of course it will be required as well, tough questions here, to provide the criteria used in determining the compensation figures, besides giving measures put in place by the government to ensure equitable compensation on the affected residents. And finally, Salim Mvuya, of course, the Cabinet Secretary for Mining and Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, will be expected to respond to questions from other senators, among them Senator Veronica Maina, nominated senator from the Kenya Kwanza side, and of course the former SG Secretary General of the United Democratic Alliance Party, and of course on the state of infrastructure put in place to facilitate the exploration of ocean renewable energy, and the initiatives put in place by the ministry to enhance the exploration of offshore gas and oil. You know, the good thing about these particular events and the CSs appearing before the Senate committees, and remember as well, the three CSs will also be required to respond to any supplementary questions from the rest of the lawmakers who are not in those particular committees. And one good thing about the three CSs, Kindiki, Mvuya and Zakaria Njeru, appearing before the Senate committees and meeting those senators and answering questions from them, is that you can watch it live across all our social media platforms today at Lookuptv on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and as well on YouTube, just to get to listen in and understand how those particular CSs are leading their ministries, because especially on matters of security, are leading their ministries on, to ensuring that, towards ensuring that, of course, insecurity has been a key concern in the country in many parts, not only in Samburu County, but especially the northern part of the Rift Valley. So you be sure to have those particular the appearances by the CSs live across all our social media platforms. But away from that now, and like I said, that will begin at exactly 9:30, so at that particular time, be sure to join us live on our social media platforms. But on that note, I'd want us to jump straight to what's trending. And I know today there'll be sporting events, but we'll be looking at tweets and matters sports later as we wind up the show. But at the moment, I want us to look at our first tweet. And there we go. It is by the Ministry of Interior. And they say more security officers have joined the teams combing through the villages and jungles of Shakahola as the government scales up efforts to rescue people who may still be trapped in the cultic terminal fasting prescribed by the controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie. Of course, we do know that the CS for Interior, that is Keitany Kindiki, was there yesterday, and he gave out directives. And by the way, just so you know, Keitany Kindiki proposed that Paul Mackenzie Nthenge will be or should be charged with, among other issues, genocide, because of what he termed as using religion to advance his, his own heinous acts. So that is a story that continues to develop as time goes by, and we'll be following up that story for you. Remember, today is day 6 of the exhumation process in Shakahola, Shakahola's shallow graves, even as family members whose loved ones are missing remain in distraught, trying to understand and puzzled by how, like I said during the newspaper review, it is baffling that some of those victims came from as far as 1,000 kilometers away. So it just shows the magnitude and the seriousness of the matter. But we'll be following up that particular story for you. On to our next tweet this particular morning, and I believe it is a tweet by the ODM Secretary General and the Senator of Nairobi County, or Nairobi City County, if you'd love to call it that, Edwin Sifuna. And he says the Azimio team has suspended its participation in the bipartisan talks until such time as Honorable Adan Keynan, the MP for Elders, that is, who remains a member of Azimio, shall not be included as part of the Kenya Kwanza delegation. Of course, we do know that as it stands, the talks are in jeopardy, and you don't really to understand where both parties are coming from. But the biggest question is, at the end of the day, will those talks happen? Because, like I explained earlier, the scenarios in those particular, or the concerns from those particular, from those two particular outfits, is that both do want a member each from both sides of the divide to quit the talks and for them to be replaced with the argument that either belongs to the other side of the political divide. So it will be interesting, and that is what Azimio says. The talks have been suspended. According to Kenya Kwanza lawmakers on the bipartisan team, which includes the likes of Bomet Senator Hilary Sigei, nominated Senator Okenyuri, they say that the talks have just adjourned to allow the co-chairs to go and engage with the party leaders. And remember, like I said yesterday, it might be bipartisan talks, but of course they are there to represent the interests of, I don't want to say Wananchi, but as well their bosses. That is President Dr. William Samoei Ruto and former Prime Minister, former Premier, if you'd love to call him that, Raila Amolo Odinga. On that note, we can jump straight away. And by the way, we'll continue to follow up and see what happens, and if the co-chairs will, of course, go and engage with the respective party leaders to understand the way forward. This comes even as Azimio la Umoja planning to embark to the streets for the anti-government demonstrations starting on Tuesday next week. Remember, they were intending to kickstart those anti-government demonstrations again on the 1st of May, but having it in mind that 1st of May is Labor Day, Paranya said they wouldn't want to inconvenience workers here in the country. Inconvenience workers on Labor Day. But anyway, let's jump to our next tweet this morning, and it's on matters NBA, and it is a tweet by the Twitter handle of the NBA, and they say, with the series on the line, Trae Young, if you're wondering, is of the Atlanta Hawks, dropped 38 points, 13 assists, and 5 three-pointers, scored 14 straight points in the fourth quarter. And finally, he did hit a deep game winner with 1.8 seconds on the clock. That's quite cold, like the NBA says there on their handle. And in case you're wondering what that game is about, the NBA playoffs are currently ongoing. And in that particular game, Boston Celtics, before today's game, the game happened today in the morning, were leading the series 3-1, just needing one win to win the series and, of course, get to the next round in the Eastern Conference. But Trae Young would not let that happen. It might be called Trae Young, but he came up big, came up clutch for the Atlanta Hawks with 44 points. And of course, DeAndre Hunter, of course, also dropped 42 points to help the Atlanta Hawks get their second win and force a game 6 in that particular tie. And talking about the NBA is that Phoenix Suns have advanced to the next round after dismantling the Los Angeles Clippers 4-1. And of course, that series is now over. The other series that is over is Denver Nuggets overpowered Timberwolves. They won that series 4-1. The other series that is still ongoing is Sacramento Kings, who are leading 2-0. But of course, against defending champions Golden State Warriors are now back. They won both of their games at home. They protected their home turf. The game will be played tomorrow at 5 a.m. in the morning. Game 5. Like I said, the game is tied. Again, we are heading for Game 5 in the battle between Los Angeles Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies. Remember yesterday, Los Angeles Lakers won 117-111 after overtime. And of course, they do have the GOAT in that particular team, LeBron James. They just need one more win to advance to the next round, and they'll play the winner between Golden State Warriors and Sacramento Kings. Like I said, Phoenix Suns have won. There's also a Game 5 tomorrow at 2 a.m. Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James's home team, will be playing against the New York Knicks. New York Knicks do lead 3-1 in that particular series. And one more interesting game is that Miami Heat did win against Bucks to extend the lead 3-1. And it was one good game because their starman dropped, that is Jimmy Butler. I call him Jimmy Buckets because he drops buckets. Jimmy Butler dropped 56 points, playoff career high of 56 points to win, extend Miami Heat's lead in that series to 3-1. They just need one more win to advance to the next phase of the playoffs. That is on matters NBA, and on matters football, the English Premier League. Of course, 3 games were played yesterday, and Leicester City did score a late equalizer against Leeds United, who were at home, to grab a point as both sides fight to remain in the Premier League. Aston Villa continued their resurgence since appointing Unai Emery as their manager. They are now up to 5th. Interesting because Unai Emery was fired by Arsenal a few seasons ago for lack of proper performance, and he came in when Aston Villa was sitting 17th on the log, and a few weeks later Aston Villa up to 5th, while other teams are stagnating, position 11, 10, 12. Teams like Chelsea, Emery has done wonders with Aston Villa. As well yesterday, Wolverhampton Wanderers, those you'd call them Wolves, did win 2-0 against Crystal Palace. And today there'll be more games. Brighton will be at away at Nottingham Forest. Chelsea will be hosting Brentford. Be sure that Chelsea are more likely to drop points than win that game. West Ham will be hosting Liverpool. Southampton will be playing Bournemouth tomorrow. And the big game of the day, defending champions Manchester City will be playing against December Premier League champions Arsenal, or you better call them Social Media FC, at exactly 10 p.m. tonight. And just so you know, Arsenal have drawn the last 3 games. 2-2 against Liverpool. They didn't let a 2-0 lead slip away. Did the same with West Ham, but they came back against Southampton. Relegation threatened Southampton to draw 3-3 at, not away, but at home, the Emirates, a place they call their fortress. The only fortress in the English Premier League is Old Trafford. And Pep Guardiola, the Manchester City manager, said if at all they win this game, the ball will be in their court in regards to winning the English Premier League. Because, and just so you know, it's sad to say this, but Manchester City are currently battling for the treble. The only other team to ever won the treble is the great Manchester United, and their City rivals, Manchester City, would want to match that. The treble doesn't literally mean winning 3 titles, but winning the English Premier League, the FA Cup, and the UEFA Champions League. And it should be in the hands of Manchester United to stop that from happening and keep their record clean, because Manchester United will be playing Manchester City in the final of the FA Cup on June 2nd. So if they need their record to stay intact, they have to win against Manchester City on June 2nd. So be sure to watch that game tonight. I know wherever Arsenal fans are, they are shivering at the moment. They are trembling because they'll be playing against the mighty Manchester City. And Arsenal have lost their last 11 Premier League games against Manchester City, their longest losing streak against an opponent in their Premier League history. But they're very confident heading up to today. They are really confident that Rob Holding, who couldn't hold on to Theo Walcott and many other players in the Southampton team last week, can hold Premier League leading top scorer Erling Braut Haaland. And of course, Man City have beaten Arsenal twice this season, winning 3-1 in the Premier League and 1-0 in the FA Cup. They've already beaten the Gunners 3 times in a single season, twice before, 2017, 2018, and of course 2020, 2021. And only Liverpool have beaten Arsenal 3 times in different league campaigns, 1994, 95, 96, 97, and 2021, 2022. Bukayo Saka is Arsenal's main starman, and Arsenal will be hoping that Bukayo Saka can come big tonight and help them secure the win. But we'll see after 90 minutes. But I want to say again, here and now, without any fear of contradiction, and my sentiments, and I'll be vindicated tonight if Arsenal drop points. And I continue to say Arsenal will not win the English Premier League this season. They'll have to wait next season, but next season again, it might not be possible. But on that note, I want to wrap up the Morning Drift here on Lookuptv. Thank you very much for joining us. Like I said, be sure to watch when the CSS will be appearing before Senate on our social media platforms at Lookuptv on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and of course on YouTube as well, starting at around 9:30 this morning, a few minutes away. You can as well visit our website www.lookuptv.co.ke to get a view and read our stories, go through our stories, and understand what is happening in the country as time goes by. Be sure as well to stay tuned to us, because at 1 p.m. we'll be having our Tarifa Coup, at 4 p.m. trending news, and at 7 p.m. we'll be having Look Up Tarifa, and at exactly 9 p.m. we'll be having Look Up News. And as well, the same applies with our sister station Muthingi TV. You can as well watch live the Parliament, the proceedings of the CSs appearing before the senators or the Senate committees. Thank you very much for joining us. For everyone who made this a success, Library Paul, our director, James, Dennis, Joshua, Julie over here, Edwin, Ian, and the team, and as well Alison and Shasha. Thank you very much. See you again tomorrow. Do have a lovely day, and like always, God bless.